In last week's video, I described a strategy for trading SpaceX, and that strategy's been working really well. Well, we can take those same concepts and apply them to the overall market to figure out if we are on the edge of a stock market crash or correction, or if we are going to see a summer rally. And we actually have some mixed messages depending on the index chart that you look at. So let's get right into it and talk about, are we going to get a crash or a stock market rally in the summer? A break of an upward trend line after a falling top is a good sell signal. We saw this with SPCX, SpaceX, as I discussed last week. I'll show you the chart of that in just a moment. The SPY has now done something very similar, which indicates that it is likely to go lower, at least in the short term. But the contradictory message is on the small cap index, the IWM, as it remains in an upward trend. And so it appears that investors are rotating out of large cap tech and into small cap stocks. Now let's look at what we mean by all of this. So first of all, just to recap what I talked about last week, we have a falling top. We had a new high here, a falling top, a break of this upward trend line right there. That was a signal that SPCX was likely to go lower. And I described last week how you can take advantage of that by buying the inverse ETF on SPCX, and that has been quite lucrative. Now, let's look at the chart of the S&P 500, but this time on the daily time frame. Here you can see the upward trend line broken there from a high, then a falling top forms, and now that line has been broken from a falling top. So that indicates that the S&P is getting a little toppy here. Now, I'm not ready to call it a crash alert, and I'll explain why in a moment, but let's move on to the IWM chart, which is still in this upward trend. And so in terms of the question, are we going to get a crash or are we going to get a summer rally? I think there's a little bit of both there. The S&P, which is dominated by large cap tech stocks, is looking a little toppy. And I think the semiconductors have had a great run and there's some profit taking going on there. And I'll show you another chart in just a moment how this plays out. But in the same time, the IWM, the small cap index, is stronger than the large caps because money is perhaps rotating out of those large caps into small caps. And there's a very good reason why, which I'll show you in a few charts. So for now, I think you have to be cautious with the large cap tech stocks and look for opportunity in the small caps. I think that's where there may be a summer rally. So let's get into my normal analysis and just expand on some of these topics. So I'll go to my website, stockscores.com. A lot of the stuff you see on here is free to use, so I encourage you to check out our charts and some of the free content that we have on Stockscores. This is the S&P chart, but what I'm going to do is make it a 3-year chart, because although you see this little breakdown right here, in the grand scheme of things, we're still in the upward trend. I think we may just endure a little bit of profit taking for a few weeks perhaps, and taking it back to the upward trend line. If we look at the NASDAQ, it's a similar situation, QQQ. And if we go to the 3-year chart, you can see that really the market for tech stocks is just a little overextended. Anytime you have price run away from a trend line, it usually comes back to it. We've run away, perhaps we're going to come back to it. And with that pullback, that money has to go somewhere, and it tends to flow into the next hot sector. And that's why I think we have to keep an eye on the IWM, and I'll explain why in just a moment, because this is actually attracting capital. Now keep in mind, the small cap stocks really did not participate in the strength the way the large caps did. So they have some catching up to do. They are not breaking down like the small caps are. They're going to, or sorry, as the large caps are, they are going to new highs for this year. Now, let's take a look at the Toronto Stock Exchange because it looks kind of similar to the IWM. And stocks on the Toronto Stock Exchange tend to be smaller cap. We don't have as many big companies in Canada. Here is the upward trend line. We're still intact. There's no falling top. There's no break of an upward trend line. So that is still a bullish chart. Now, moving along, we look at gold. Gold has been in a pullback ever since it went parabolic, broke the parabolic trend, built a falling top, broke down from a falling top, and the market has been headed lower ever since. So another sign of how this works really well. These breaks of upward trend lines from falling tops tend to predict weakness. Looking at the oil chart, you'll see it here also. Hits a new high, builds a falling top, breaks the upward trend line, and oil has been sliding lower. So looking at the 1 month chart of oil, it's pretty bearish. The 3-year chart of oil is still very volatile and getting to a point where it might bounce a little bit in the near term. But I think generally, although this has got a neutral stock score on it, it's still pretty weak in the short term. Let's move along to the currencies, and the US dollar is where money is flowing. If I go to a 1 month chart of the US dollar, you see it's in a strong upward trend. So it's a bullish currency, but the opposite is true for Bitcoin. Bitcoin has been in a downward slide for many months. You can see here the upward trend line was broken. This didn't really make a falling top. That's unusual, actually. It makes its falling top here and then breaks down from a falling top there. And of course, it's been weak ever since. So I think generally you want to be very cautious with Bitcoin. Now, this is the chart and the reason why US small cap stocks are doing well. It's because the bond market has been moving up. If the bond market is moving up, that means interest rates are moving down. And lower interest rates are good for small cap stocks. So the reason the money is flowing out of some of that large cap stocks is people just taking profits on very strong gains. And with interest rates outlook starting to change in the US, then you're starting to see that money flow into the small caps, which is more interest rate sensitive. So my ratings then, US large cap and NASDAQ neutral in the short term, long term still bullish, but we want to be cautious because it is starting to break down. Small caps, bullish on both time frames. Canadian stocks, the same. Gold and oil, short-term bearish, long-term neutral. With oil, I'm sketchy on whether it should be neutral in the long term, as it is pretty sharp sell-off right now from the highs. US dollar still bullish on both time frames. Bitcoin bearish on both time frames, and bonds short-term bullish and long-term neutral. All right, let's get into this week's trade of the week. And this is an example of a stock that had a good run last week. And this week I'm doing something a little bit unique because as we've seen the pattern day trade rule change in the US and other regulatory changes and just the broadening of the market to a global market, we're seeing a lot more opportunities outside of the regular trading hours. And so the US stock market opens at 4 a.m. Eastern time for the pre-market session, but most US brokers can't really, they don't let their clients trade before 7 a.m. Eastern time. Although in Europe, they'll often trade between 4 and 7, or Asia. And then we have an aftermarket session that goes from 4 p.m. Eastern time until 8 p.m. Eastern time. So it's now possible if you're a trader or with a trader mindset, but maybe you have to work and you can't watch the market during normal market hours, you can trade one of these extended sessions. And that's the example of a trade I have this week. This is UPC, which met my strategy requirements. I have a strategy called the first wave to capture stocks making that first wave up. And it starts with my little orange dot there. That's my action candle indicator. And it meets the other requirements for that strategy. You can learn more about that at stockscores.com. And the stock went into a really nice move there, starting at $4.50 on the entry and going all the way up to over $12. So much more than 100% jump in just a few hours, not even an hour and a half in the aftermarket session for a big, big gain. So that's the kind of thing that you can do if you have some time later in the day. There's not as many opportunities in the after hour session, but often between 4 and 5, there's quite a few as companies issue news after the close, and then you get these big runs in after hours. Most stocks shouldn't be traded in the after hours, but these really liquid, abnormal movers can be, and that's something to keep an eye on. Hope you've enjoyed this week's video. If so, do me a favor, click on the like button and leave a comment. Do you think we're going to see a summer rally or a stock market crash? And what sectors of the market do you think that's going to happen? Love to hear your thoughts. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. And as always, trade well.